despite the movement of a Sheikh Gumi moving around all the states where the bandits are, yet these people are still committing more havoc, and he continues to defend them. Just hear what they have done in Niger again.
Bandits currently attacking Niger community, residents running for safety. Armed bandits have on Thursday launched an attack on Gumana community Shiroro, local government area, Niger State. Sahara reporters gathered that a sporadic shooting happened and it was still going on as at the time of filming the report. It was learned that the bandits had laid siege to the community with residents running helter-skelter. Just on Tuesday night, bandits launched an attack on Manta village in the same local government area. Sahara reporters gathered that the bandits, who were heavily armed with assorted sophisticated weapons, came into the village on motorcycles, shooting sporadically. Manta village of Manta district in Shiroro local government area was under siege by the armed bandits last night. They shot into the air, frequently to instill fear in the victims, a source said. He added that there were many casualties, but there is no certainty to the number of those affected at the moment. The current attack on Gumana is the fifth reported attack in Niger State in the last 1 week. On Wednesday, armed men dressed in military uniform abducted staff and students of Government Science College Kagara. A student who attempted to escape was shot dead. Hours after the Kagara incident, armed men raided Gomana community, killing and kidnapping residents. It's so bad, but we have to be I think this is a continuing, and it might sound bad, but this is my personal opinion. The government has traumatized us for too long, and we cannot afford. Basically, what I'm trying to say in essence is that we need to sort of get desensitized to these things. Not that we don't acknowledge that they happen, but our energy will be harvested. Like, our energies when we react to these things it's just not healthy for us, because they keep taking and taking and taking. We keep reacting, but these things are now happening constantly, and we can't afford to get in our feelings, so attached that we don't then use that energy to think of how we can protect ourselves, hold the government accountable, and sort of gradually get out of this situation. Somebody says, I'm suspecting these people to be Boko Haram members disguising as bandits. Wow. That's a whole new insight to this, but it's not like I'm surprised or anything. It's like, oh, it took you this long? They are encroaching southwards. God save Nigeria from this looming calamity. That is true. That is very, very true, because I think they're actually kind of not smart, but it was actually very tactical, because they understand that we have a sort of image or a narrative of how Boko Haram attacks the north. And of course, for them to infiltrate the south, they cannot do the same thing and expect the same result. So what they do is they disguise in forms of, Fulani herdsmen, because again, Fulani herdsmen are very prevalent in the south. So it's tactical, because then they were like, okay, so what sort of northern narrative or northern presence is comfortable with the people of the south? Let's twist that narrative, and then infiltrate little by little. And I think this person is absolutely right. This person that said this had 3 replies to his comments, and the first one says, that is the truth. The Boko Haram are disguising themselves as bandits and Fulani herdsmen. Very true, because there's no other reason why they'd be having AK-47s. AK-47s are hella expensive. Okay, if you are broke and you're a jobless, herdsman, not even herdsman, just a jobless person in the north, who gave you an AK-47 if you're literally trying to make ends meet? If, like, okay, Bakasi made a video on how the hypocrisy of the government works and all that, and then he literally made a figure and actually researched this, that an AK-47 is literally about 500,000 naira. So, like, how are they affording these things? And yes, they say that they're suffering. Someone says all the terrorists are Boko Haram, but different departments. The bandits, kidnappers, Fulani herdsmen, they are all Boko Haram. Bandits are kidnapping for ransom to raise money to fund Boko Haram and herdsmen. That is very true. And again, from the last article, and with the killings that happen in Edo State by, Fulani herdsmen, there's a whole new dynamic to this, that indigenes of their land are actually selling their people to Fulani herdsmen. And it just makes me have a correlation to how the white people were able to infiltrate our communities, because of the little minorities of people who turn against their own people and literally give them the gateway to infiltrate and do whatever they need to do. And it's just similarities. Like, why are we choosing to cause problems onto ourselves? It's like we understand that, like, we can't afford to be divided. I think that's just the whole what I'm trying to get to. We can't afford to be divided, because even if it's just a little, like 1%, if that 1% sides with the enemy, everyone's finished. Everyone is finished, because they're literally giving them the gateway into society. They're literally giving them the gateway into the community. And it just doesn't make sense. It's like your indigenes are turning against you. And that was literally the befall of Nigeria, because the first attack, obviously we were not in Nigeria before, but the first attack in our environment in West Africa by the British or Portuguese. But the fact is, there was a king in Lagos State, and there was his uncle. And so what happened was, they were basically both fighting for the kingship position and all that. And so they kept fighting, and the nephew, the nephew did not want to let that go. And then what happened was, the uncle then sided with forces, external forces, you know who I'm talking about, to actually invade. And of course, these people at that time, they had, sophisticated weapons and everything. Like, they literally came and destroyed Lagos. Like, Lagos it's not even called Lagos. Like, Lagos is because it's a lake and different things like that. But the fact is, the actual indigenous just ran away. They ran away. And then of course, the uncle became king for like a short while, because his people that he sided with, the foreigners, literally took over, sent him into exile. And when they covered that land, the Yoruba, that western land, then they started. So it was easy for them to literally infiltrate, just because an uncle and a king at the time, uncle and nephew, were fighting against each other. Does that make sense? It's literally the most, for lack of a better word, stupid, because it doesn't make sense. Because you're fighting with your family member, then you let enemies, external forces come in and literally rip you apart. So that's why, like, division is literally like the best tactics to control a people and instill fear, because we just need to wake up to a higher level of consciousness and open our eyes and see what's going on. Because it's literally a replica of what happened. Obviously, that was a whole opening for slave trade and all that, which is, we are survivors of a traumatized people, facts, and that's it. But in this case, it's literally happening again when we're turning against ourselves. For what? But now we have a government. Now we have people that are meant, and it's their responsibility to keep us safe. And because they haven't done that, and because we ourselves, we have not even fixed the internal selfishness and sort of hate and division that we have, so any little thing can trigger that betrayal so easily. So that's why, like, when the main responsibility comes on the government for them to actually do their job, so them to actually protect us, make jobs, and make the economy so stable. But they're not doing it. And then people take laws into their own hands and start turning against each other, which obviously is a tactic that they're obviously using very, very much. You have to open your eyes to see this, but I genuinely think that it is very, very obvious and it's to our faces. Put what you think about it in the comment section below, and do not forget to like and subscribe.